Yeah, you never pay attention. It's a good way to start off the episode. Adam not paying attention. Connor fixing his hair that'll never get perfect. Me.
You know who is perfect though? The New York Knicks.
Julius Randle from 3 because he doesn't miss. Yeah, I'm well aware.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Julius Randle, MVP. I mean, I don't see a difference.
We are not a basketball podcast. Jason, there's your shout out. There's your shout out. Starting off with question of the day from Will Forbes. How many goals does Erling Haaland score in MLS?
8 billion.
Yeah,
900.
Too many.
In one season, I genuinely believe if a player like Amro Tarek doesn't just snap him in half because he's tired, I think he probably breaks 50. Like, no joke.
Haaland's too big, though.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in this league is snapping him in half. This isn't messy.
Adam, you know the body. If you hit somebody in the knee just right, they're done.
I mean,
but Haaland's a robot, so
yeah,
he doesn't have knees.
All right, that was question of the day. We haven't done that in a little bit, so we're throwing it at the beginning, and now we move in to the proper intro. Welcome back, everybody, to the Designated Players Podcast. We are on episode 5 of season 2. Still have not got a really good, clever caption for this one. So we're back with part 3 of deep dives. The last 9 teams. Yikes.
9 teams.
So the last 9 teams. Quote of the day. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Formations, coaching decisions, and trusting the system. Part 3, because we're in deep diving part 3. That's episode 5. Breaking into Kansas City, Columbus, Orlando, Vancouver, Houston, San Jose, FCC, Inter Miami, and Colorado. So basically, Connor and I are sitting back, and Adam's going to talk about every hype train he is driving because he's got like 9 of them on here.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 out of the 9.
Well, you got the Alan Polito FKC train,
Mm-hmm.
the Derek Etienne Jr. Columbus train.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a pass on Orlando. Maybe not there yet.
Nope.
If Daryl DK was there, you'd probably say
correct.
We're going to assume Daryl DK comes back. So, even though he's definitely gone, Vancouver Allianz hype train, Darwin Quintero in Houston.
Oh, I didn't count Houston. Yeah.
Cade Cowell in San Jose.
Nah.
FCC because they're FCC.
No.
Inter Miami we know about, and the Colorado hype train. So you've got
literally every team
train on every team in this podcast episode. So you'll be contributing deeply into this episode. Connor and I are just going to give little tidbits here and there. It's great. It's really good. We're going to have a lot of fun. Adam's going to try and talk about things. I'm going to laugh at him because he'll probably be wrong. Dumb. But before we do any of that, got to break in the scarf of the week. I'm going to go back and just say that I'm recycling the original Red Bull scarf, the very first one I've ever owned, because I've got 2 new ones on the way. And I'm sure they're going to be here tomorrow since we're recording this on a Wednesday, or on a Tuesday rather. They'll get here on Wednesday. And I just wasn't going to recycle something that I didn't want to wear. So up in Metro, first in the East, first in the league, first in MLS Cup, doing the quadruple of everything. We're going to be great. Adam, what do you got?
Is there Open Cup this year? Do we know?
There is Open Cup, and there's also Leagues Cup, which we did not make.
I'm curious where the fourth part of that quadruple comes from.
Style points. Brian White, player. Omir, Fernandez, Flo. Do you see that picture of the center backs? Bro, they're dropping a fire mixtape. If you haven't seen it, go check out the Red Bull Twitter. They posted a picture, Sean Nealis, Amro Tarek, and Reyes, and they just look badass. So, yeah, watch out because we're not conceding a goal all year with that back line. But no Red Bull in this podcast, so we're going to try and stay away as best we can. Adam, what do you got rocking today?
So first, jersey-wise, like Captain America popsicle. I don't know what the hell you want to call it.
I like the popsicle kit.
Yeah, USA kit with none other than Aaron Johansson on the back. God, I don't know if I regret this jersey, but like, Aaron, I love you. Glad to see you're doing well in Poland.
Come on the podcast.
And then scarf wise, I've got the American Outlaw Rochester division scarf that I got while I was up there.
Back in the old 607, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. Is Rochester 607?
I don't think so.
No, I think they're outside. I think they're their own weird place.
They are. I don't know.
They are
not important.
585. That's right.
Yeah.
Connor, what are you rocking?
In honor of us talking about them today, I'm bringing out the Houston scarf.
Man, no wonder why you picked up all these $5 scarves. They're all the awful teams. you haven't shown one good team yet.
I've shown you Atlanta.
Exactly. What do you mean?
There's nothing on this side.
Don't like that side. I like the other side.
Yeah, it's
orange and black.
It's not one of my favorites, but I'll take it.
It's different. I like the orange and black with the name across. I spoke about that last week.
Yeah. I'm definitely a fan of Houston's colors. I really like the orange and black. It goes really well.
They can do so much with those kits if Adidas let them go. Next week, kit reactions, Adam Tamburello. He's going to have a lot of fun with that one.
Sure. The episode's going to be 5 minutes because we can do all the away kits in about 2 sentences. But yeah, okay.
We got a whole bunch planned for next week, but we'll talk about that as we get to the end of the episode. But for right now, let's dive into Sporting Kansas City. I'll give it a start because it's, I'll let Adam take his hype train after, but he's got so much to talk about. I don't want him to strain his voice, Oh, he's got his water though. Look at that. He's ready. SKC is led by most tenured coach in the league, Peter Vermees, finishing top of the West last year with third in the league, lost in the conference semifinals, 12-6-3 last year, and most likely going to slide into that 4-1 formation. Tim Million goal, Graham Zusi at right back, Isamat Marin with either Fontas or Puniek next to him. I'm going to say they'll probably give Luis Martins the start there. They seemed to be the favorite last year until he picked up a little injury, and then Amadou Dia came in, but they're both serviceable there. Word of Connor's day, serviceable, because his favorite player is coming up in 2 teams.
Yep.
But then when they start going forward, that's when they start getting really dangerous. You've got Sanchez probably sitting in that DM spot, or Espinoza can fill in that spot as well. But then going forward, Gianluca Busio, Gadikinda, Johnny Russell, Daniel Shaloi, and Polito as well. So that attack is going to be really, really fun to watch. You've also got Remy Walter that can slide into that DM spot, or play in the cam spot. If they choose to go 4-3-3, he can act as more of an 8. Lots of stuff that he can do. Vermees really needs to get that right because he could be the key that unlocks greatness for that attacking front 5, it looks like. Key players, of course, you've got Tim Melia, big leader, the goalkeeper, the back. Gadikinda, he is primed for a breakout year this year. We saw that he had bits and pieces coming out of him in the first round of his MLS career. But I think he's got a really, if Walter slides in and does a really good job, he can actually become one of the best playmakers in MLS. I truly believe that. And of course, Alan Polito, Adam's hype train conductor, star striker of the league. If given time, probably can drop a solid 15 to 20 goals in the right formation. I think they'll be looking to him for most of their attacking potential. Who needs to have a good 2021? For me, Gianluca Busio. He's been in that starting role, not necessarily every game, but enough where he's probably most likely going to be a starter this year. He's ready to go to Europe. It's his time. People are scouting him. Evidently, he only needs 5 more games to do it. So make a good impact in those first 5s. And he has a really decent chance of getting over there mid-season. Polito, obviously, we spoke about in the COVID era, had a difficult time adapting, but still had a decent year last year. But now it's time for him to hit that 15-20 mark. That's what they brought him in for, and he can do it. Kinda's in that same conversation, right? He had a weird transition into MLS in the COVID era. But for me, it is my biggest one is Ismail Marin, right? If he's going to fill in that Matt Beasler role, the one that's been held there for 10 years, you can't lose a step. It's got to be slide in, fill in from the start. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's the guy I'm watching because he can make or break the way this team play. Because yes, they're very good going forward, but if they can't keep goals out of the net, you can't win games, right? So that's a guy I'm keeping an eye on. Again, formation-wise, you're going to see this team be a more of a counter-attack team. You'll have a little bit of combination in midfield, but it's going to be, win the ball in defense, play your high target midfielder, lay it off to one of your midfielders dropping in, play it out wide, and just build, get crosses, get high profile chances, what's the word? Oh, goodness. High caliber, right? High percentile chances of scoring, for lack of a better term. And you're gonna see a very fast-paced counterattack team. I think you'll have Zusi still swinging in balls from the wing. Same thing with Luis Martins. He was great from that wing last year, especially if Walter or Sanchez can really solidify that back line where they can turn into almost a 3-back as everybody goes forward. This team's going to be fun to watch going forward, 100%. Thoughts?
Connor, you can go. I'll go last.
I was waiting to see if you would go. I kind of agree with you on the Ismail Marin part. Definitely is going to have to kind of fill that hole that Beasler left. And that's definitely an area that I'll keep a close eye on. And, I'm a little bit worried about him coming in. He's definitely got big shoes to fill, even in terms of like a leadership role. Like Beasler was probably a big leader in that back line. And I'm hoping that, for SKC's sake, that he can come in and kind of just like pick up right where he left off. But I have a feeling that's a lot easier said than done. And just kind of like an overall look of this team, I kind of feel like when you look at them on paper, they don't seem like a team like LAFC that's going to tear you up and win like 5-0 every game. But this is definitely a team that's going to win a lot of games and be competitive.
I think they have a better chance to win games that at that score line, right? Because if Busiok does fill into that attacking role like we think he might, and Kinda takes that step forward, with Russell being at the level we know he can play at, and Shallowy returning back to that like 2018-19 form, and Polito hitting his stride, they can win. They can destroy teams.
And that's saying their defense holds up because they could win games like 5-3 every game, which will be really exciting to watch.
They're going to be a fun team to watch. We'll probably live stream a bunch of those games, just simply because it'll be a ton of fun. Adam, how's your hype train going?
It's good. The biggest thing with Alan Polito is going to be whether he can stay healthy. So he dealt with a hamstring injury most of last season, and still averaged 50%. So he scored 6 goals in 12 games. Like, not terrible considering he missed a bunch. But yeah, if he stays healthy, and I think playing every week will certainly help with that instead of like the stop-start kind of nonsense that went on last year. So he stays healthy, he leads that line. Even if he stays percentage-wise at the same, he essentially is going to score 12, 14 goals, which is pretty good.
It's all right. It's not Brian White level, but it's all right.
Yeah, you say it's serviceable.
Yeah.
All right. Now you're trying to get me angry, and I'm not here for that. Not yet.
Okay. I'll wait a little bit.
I'm gonna let you do Orlando, and I'm gonna sit here quietly.
Oh, I know. You're not gonna sit here quietly.
I'm gonna sit here quietly while
you're not gonna sit there quietly.
While you talk dumb stuff, I'm gonna sit here. I'm just gonna take notes. When you're done, I'm going to rip you to shreds.
Okay, you go. You go ahead.
But before that, we should go to Columbus.
So before we move on, the one thing I want to know your guys' thoughts. So Gianluca Busio gets the number 10 shirt, so you'd have to assume
Is it green?
it's green. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, we can't talk about that until we do jerseys next week.
True.
So he gets the number 10 shirt, which means you would think he then starts. However, I think Kinda and Espinoza get the 2 center mid spots to start the season.
I think they switch. Sorry, I think they switch it. Go 4-3-3.
Mhm.
Let Espinoza drop with Sanchez,
Mhm.
and then use a Kinda Busio
Pivot.
flip. I think that's probably more likely. Just because if he wants to throw Walter in there, I'm assuming he's more of a ball playing 8 than a ball winning 6. So you got to have somebody next to him. I think at that point, it really depends on how they came into camp, right? If Busio took strides, you're looking at him obviously being the number 1, but Kinda's also got the potential. They could probably throw him out on the wing too. If Shallowy's not performing, they could throw Busio out on left wing. Probably not his best position, but still, you could probably drop Busio back too. He'd probably better as an 8 as well. Maybe not a ball playing 8, but a ball carrying 8, a Darlington Nagbe type of build, if you will. Just running all over the place, and then replace him for a Kinda who'll stay a little bit higher. That type of look. Again, it just depends on how they came into camp, right?
Yeah, because we saw Kinda come in last year and arguably was their best player at MLS's back. Like, came into preseason and those first couple games of the year, like, lights out, fucking spark of their attack, scoring. Like, he looked ridiculously good those first few games. So he has the capability to come in and lock that spot down if he wants it.
Correct. I agree. Is there anybody else who can fill that left wing role? I'm not sold Shallowy gets a start.
Kyrie Shelton, question mark.
I think Shelton probably over Shallowy, because Shallowy was a hit or miss guy for a long.
I mean, so was Kyrie Shelton.
I think Shelton gets a start though. I think he was better than Shallowy last year.
Yeah.
Personally, like I said, that's why when I saw Shallowy there, I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
We also have to remember that Red Bull legend Kendall McIntosh is there. So Tim Nelia's spot is there. Yeah, you're looking at Shallowy, you're looking at Tyler Freeman, Ozzy Cisnero, Kyrie Shelton. Johnny Russell can flip to that side and play Kyrie Shelton on the right. Guy Aquina can play on the right or left. Yeah, their attacking core can interchange a lot, and I'm sure even throughout the games you'll see a lot of interchange, right? You'll see Keena go out wide, Busio come in, Shallowy go up top, with Polito going out wide, just completely off kiltering every defense that goes on and tries to defend these guys. I think if you just constantly interchange and give them the freedom to switch in and out and up and down and wherever they want to go, you're going to find a lot of success. So, again, really excited to watch this team. First in the West, maybe. Like I said, that back line looks solid enough, maybe. But that's just me.
We just skip this next team because, like, there's no point. They're good. Every team is good. They have like 3 11s that can just beat anybody.
Are we talking about Columbus?
Yeah.
Columbus. Adam, you want to talk about, or no, because Connor's taking Orlando. So you got to talk about Columbus. Give us a starting 11. Give us our second starting 11. That's a discuss. I need to get a drink of water. That's second 11.
Yeah. So we've touched on Columbus before. I mean, obviously the transfer window is still open. I wouldn't be surprised if Cristiano Ronaldo comes in next, play alongside Jassy Zardes, but like whoever's leading Columbus after winning MLS Cup last season just basically said, okay, last season was good. Let's do that for the next like 4 years. Like one of the arguably most dominant MLS Cup finals that I can remember watching. It looked boring. It was easy. Congratulations again to Derek Etienne Jr. for winning MLS Cup because he was never going to do that in New York.
Not yet. He might if he came back.
When he comes back.
Yeah.
But Caleb Porter is obviously still there. They finished third in the East, fourth overall in the league, but like doesn't really matter when you bring home the trophy at the end. Their roster is silly. They went and, brought in some guy named Kevin Molino, who was okay last season. They brought in some goalkeeper named Evan Bush, who was, okay. Who was letting this happen? They brought in Bradley Wright Phillips because, they needed another striker. I hate Columbus. They're so good.
They're going to be so
good.
Did I hear? I had to go get a drink of water. Did I hear you say that Cristiano Ronaldo would start next to Zardes? Don't you know he's on the wrong side of 30? Don't you know he'd never get into this team because he's on the wrong side of 30 and his hair doesn't have a blonde stripe down the middle?
I'm sure you could put a blonde stripe.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I know.
Why don't you go compare how many goals Cristiano Ronaldo has in MLS versus Jesse Zardes and come back to me and tell me why Ronaldo should be starting?
Numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie.
He's got it there.
Sorry, Cristiano.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm clipping that. I'm putting that on TikTok. I'm kind of canceled.
So realistically, I don't even know. 4-2-3-1 again. I mean, why change something that's not broken? It's what they won everything last year with. So I assume they're just gonna do the same thing and improve on it again. So obviously Eli Room starts in goal. Then you have like some combination of awful Wormgore, Jonathan Mensah, and Valenzuela across the back, but you're also leaving off like Hairston, Keita, Front. Like they're just, it's not fair. Midfield options of like Artur, Darlington Nagby, Perry Kitchen, Matan, their new signing, Zella Ryan, and then Pedro Santos, Molino, Zardes. Like this team is silly. This shouldn't be a thing.
It's so tough to talk about key players when their entire
everybody
Yes,
have a
literally.
decent year and you guys will be all right.
Yeah. And even if you don't, this feels like a Man City-esque roster, especially in MLS where the rosters are so tight money-wise. To have two starting 11s that could realistically go out and compete with most teams.
So you know who their third goalie is? Because why not?
No, I don't.
Matt Lamson. So former Chicago goalie.
Matt Lamson started like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
They have three arguably starting quality goalies just because.
He started for Chicago. Let's relax.
This second team, though, the second team could probably challenge for a playoff spot.
Absolutely.
Which is ridiculous.
BWP on the bench could score. BWP Etienne Jr. could fucking. Oh, man, that's unreal.
This team is silly.
It is. It's very silly. Third in the East, fourth in the league, one MLS Cup, obviously. Caleb Porter in charge. Does anybody need to have a good 2021?
No, you need to have a halfway decent season, and you will still probably minimally walk to a playoff spot, if not like another Eastern Conference final, if not another MLS Cup final.
We have to remember that this is MLS, which means they're going to finish with like 4 wins this year.
Yeah, true. That's fair.
Zardes has to win Golden Boot, otherwise Connor is going to cry.
Yeah. I mean, you could almost make the argument that everybody in that starting 11 would have to have a good 2021 because of how deep this team is. It's like as soon as you start slacking, they can replace you with a snap of their fingers.
Yeah. And that's like I said, that's why I draw so many comparisons to Man City, because that's the exact way that Man City function. They go, oh man, you can't play? See ya. Here's the bench. Bernardo Silva, go ahead, have fun. Then Bernardo Silva starts messing up. Like, all right, go back on and play again. It's just constant rotation of quality, which is going to be really fun to watch.
Like, think of how many combinations you can play in this team. Like, you can put Artur, Aiden Morris, and Matan as a midfield three. If one of them gets tired, just throw on one of the best attacking players in the league last year in Zella Ryan. Like, what?
Their rest games are gonna have 11s that are better than some teams' actual starting 11s.
Oh yeah.
That's so dumb.
Mhm.
That's so dumb.
Well, you're gonna tell me the second 11 can't arguably beat New York City or Houston
Probably beat FCC.
or Vancouver? Yeah.
Or Atlanta.
No.
Atlanta signed Alan Franco. They're in the running for Supporter Shield.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, they
preparing myself.
are.
I'm preparing myself for the other dumb stuff you're about to say for Orlando. I'm just getting it all out now. Are we done with this? Are we done? Is there anything else we need to talk about?
No.
No.
And there is, but we'll get that next week. But their jerseys are cool too. Not even like they have ugly jerseys. I can't even make fun of their jerseys because they look cool too.
All right. Just go on to Orlando. Connor, start saying dumb stuff. I'm gonna sit here quietly, and then I'll rip you apart.
Maybe I'll try and test that theory of how quiet you're gonna stay over there. I'll just say some really controversial stuff.
There's a comment down there. That name sounds really familiar, Adam. Go ahead.
Okay, so Orlando is coached by Oscar Parejo. And last season, they finished 4th in the East, 5th in the league, and lost in the conference semifinals to New England. They finished with an 11-4-8 record. And as much as I really hate to admit it, this team is really good. I mean, they'll be up there competing against Columbus for Supporter Shield on top of the East. So we put them in a 4-2-3-1 surprise. A little bit different, though. We put them with 2 defensive midfielders as opposed to 2 central midfielders and a cam. So we have them down as Gillespie in goal, Ruan or Smith at right back, Janssen and Antonio Carlos at center backs, Moutinho at left back, which I saw he was listed with an injury. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is there. Also, not sure. I have to check again, but I remember their left back depth was pretty thin. Maybe someone could check that. But so then in the midfield, at the 2 defensive midfield spots, this was tough because they have plenty of guys that can play there. It could be Urso, Pereira, Mendez, any combination of those 3. And then in front of them at central mid, we have Pereira. And on the left, Nani or Alvarado. On the right, Chris Mueller. And then up top, some Brazilian guy. Up top, Alexander Pato. Key players, Nani. He's the face and the star of the team. Even with Pato coming in, he's the guy. Pereira, I feel like he's the guy in the midfield that's going to link the attack and the defense, and I think he's going to be super crucial player for them. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Maxi Morales. And then I put Pato because I didn't want to hear Andrew go on a rant for 8 years. And players who need to have a good 2021. I said Chris Mueller because I think another big year from him could definitely stir up a lot of interest over abroad. And I think he could get that move that we've seen a lot of the young star American players in this league get. And he's definitely got the talent to get the move. I mean, this guy is definitely a great player. But I think another year certainly like really puts it into the conversation. And then I said Pereira as well, kind of like how I said before. I think he'll be the guy in the midfield that kind of links everything together. So I think he's going to be super crucial to kind of keep the flow between the defense and the offense, the attack and the defense for Orlando. And then I added a little fun fact because Orlando has someone on their team named Brandon Hackenberg. And I wanted to see if that rang a bell for Andrew.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that's ringing, but not so it sounds like a guy that I used to ref with that I think is Adam's age, Brandon Hohenberg. And that's not it. And Hackenberg also sounds like a quarterback from the NFL.
Christian Hackenberg.
Hackenberg, yeah.
I think this is at least a cousin, if not his brother. They were both born in Pennsylvania, so I got to imagine they're related. but I think some relation to Christian Hackenberg, former quarterback of the New York Jets.
I would say he was a Jet. He was drafted by the Jets. Another career ruin. Love that.
Maybe someone can correct us if they actually have no relation, but that would be quite the coincidence.
I don't think they have any relation.
No, two Hackenbergs, both born in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They both went to Penn State too.
Because I looked up Brandon Hackenberg's Penn State bio, and it says
I think you're right. I looked up Brandon Hackenberg brothers, and Christian isn't on there.
Christian was a 3-year starter at Penn State football team. Never mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh wait, no. It says it's his brother.
Yeah, look at that. I
Yeah.
missed that.
So Orlando's got Christian Hackenberg's brothers.
Christian, Adam, and Drew. Christian was a 3-year starter on the Penn State football team, hold multiple program passing records. Strangely enough, doesn't mention he played in the NFL. I feel like that's a kind of a flex you want to put out there, but whatever.
That's because he played for the Jets.
Yeah, even more of a flex.
Wasn't really playing in the NFL.
We traded him for a 7th-round pick.
All right, this is getting too far off topic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, all right, go on your rant. Go ahead.
No rant. You didn't say anything dumb.
No, this team is really good. There's really not as much as I would like to take shots at Orlando because they're Orlando. They're definitely like a really talented team, and the rivalry this year is going to be really exciting.
Correct. No, like I said, I think you're going to see Perea play a lot after his stint with the US U23s and his appearances with the men's national team. He'll get a lot more minutes, probably, so he can get a move and they can make some money off of him. Mueller does need a good year because it's time for him to go. Like, he's been their best player, head above heels until Nani came in for a while. They are thin at left back, so you can see Kyle Smith play out there or Ruan, depends on where they want to go with it. Probably Kyle Smith. They could go three center backs. They've got Schlegel, Jansen, Carlos, Hackenberg, and Rio Hope Gunn, who they just signed. So
let me correct you really quick. Rodrigo Schlegel is a goalkeeper.
Fair, very fair. They really should just put his picture as him, like the like weird sumo pose. That should be his picture everywhere. But you could do that and then throw some wingers out there. Throw Nani on the wing with Mueller, or Vanderwater too. Just got signed. He can play either side. Benji Michel can play on the wing. The turnover from what this team used to be to what it is now is so phenomenal. You also failed to mention Ori Russell, who can play in that defensive mid spot as well, and Mendez. Mendez has played there. Oh wait, no, just kidding. You mentioned Mendez. Sorry, reading's hard. Lots of different things you can do with this team, but you are going to see once again another team that is going to look to counter quickly with lots of attacking options and hope they score more than they concede. They were very good defensively last year. Gillespie is probably a top 5 goalkeeper in the league. I'd argue that all day long. And they're going to hope that Pato comes in and does the work. But even if he doesn't, which I don't think he will be the case, you got Akindele, you've got Benji Michel. You can throw Mueller up top. You can throw Nani up top. Because you've got the winger depth to do it. This team's just so deep, and I'm very excited for it. Like I said, little thin on the defensive backs. Can we talk about their defensive depth? We goalkeeper depth. We talked about Columbus's goalkeeper depth. Pedro Gillespie, Brian Rowe, and Brandon Austin at Spurs. This team is also, or is that West Brom? Was Brandon Austin West Brom? Or was he Spurs?
No,
I think
Tottenham.
I think it was Spurs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to talk about a deep 3? That's a deep 3 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this team is going to be really good. I think if I'm talking anybody else who needs to have a pretty good year, I gotta say Pereira, not Pereira, just because I think he's also on the board to probably get a move across the pond. So that's it. Like I said, I don't. You didn't say anything super dumb, so I couldn't pull you on that one. So
the best case scenario is this team stays the way it is. The worst case scenario is Barnsley doesn't make Daryl DK's loan permanent, and he comes back to Orlando, and they put him and Pato up top.
Better. Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Like, granted, he's got 5 goals in 11 games right now in the championship.
Oh, he's gone. He's so gone.
I would imagine, unless the price tag is like silly.
If it's like 20 million, I think that they might still actually sign him. Pay it.
I would.
No arguments there.
All right, question.
God forbid they say no, and he goes, okay, I'm going to go back to Orlando and play with this team that's kind of good.
Somebody else will pick him up.
Yeah.
Top 16 bid for him. Somebody's got to want him.
Sure.
Everton probably need to back up to DCL. Put a quick bid in there, you know.
You were Charleston.
Nah, he's a winger.
Yeah.
Anyways, Connor, you have a question?
Yeah. So if DK comes back, who comes out of the lineup if you're playing with Pato and DK?
Urso comes out, you go 4-1-2-1-2 diamond wide.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Let Mendez or Pereira or Russell play that DM spot. And I think you probably put Pereira in there because as a good DM, he also is really good at distributing the ball. So he'll find that Pereira release valve. He'll find Nani or Mueller out wide, and he'll find the top players. And I don't even want to think about that. That makes me like kind of sick. In fact, that could be a thing.
Or you go some combination of like a 4-2-2 and just play like Pato DK up top, Mueller on one side, Pereira on the other side with Pereira and Urso as a 2 holding.
Oh yeah, and just drop Nani to the bench.
Or Nani as one of the wingers. I'm saying if you want rotation.
Are we now just trying to say dumb stuff? Is that what we're looking for?
I'm sorry, as a 30-whatever-year-old Nani's not going to play every game.
We're moving on.
That's the wrong line. He's on the wrong side of 30.
I know.
Thank you. If you're gonna say anything dumb, say something like that. I need more of Nani in my life screaming at referees every time he doesn't get a call when he dives. You can't bench him.
It's meant for NYC.
Yeah. Let's move on to hype train number 4 for Adam. Vancouver, take it away, my friend.
So Mark DeSantos again at the helm. They finished 9th last year in the West, which like not super terrible. Granted 17th overall in the league and just missed out on playoffs. They're the only team in the league that last season that didn't draw a game. They either went all out and tried to win or all out and lost. Like there was no settling for a point in Vancouver. At the same time, anyone with like any sort of talent last season played 2 games and was immediately sold. So they struggled like a lot. So other than Ali Adnan, who I'm convinced like has a clause in his contract that he's not allowed to leave because he should have been on a different team years ago. I assume they're just going to stick with the same 4-4-2 they've been playing for the last like 3 seasons because sure. So hopefully, I assume Kerpau's healthy. Otherwise, Hassal will just like come in and be fine.
Yeah, their goalkeeper spot is not an issue.
No. Some combination like that. This is one of those teams in MLS that has like 0 depth to it. Like if this 11 that I'm about to say gets any injuries to it, they're just pulling guys like off the street to come play for them. So it'll be some combination of like Jake Nowitzki at right back, Veselinovic and Godoy. It's 2 center backs, and then the GOAT at left back.
Who?
The GOAT.
Brian White?
No, the one that's like on Vancouver.
Alex Mueller?
Yes.
We're talking goats here. We're not talking Ali Adnan.
will reach through this computer and punch you in the head.
Do it, I dare.
Christian Dejome at right mid, and then you have, I assume, like Tybert and Kyle Alexander as the two center mids, and then take your pick at left mid. Is it going to be Theo Bair? Is it going to be Baldissimo? Like, your guess is as good as mine. And then Cavallini and Caicedo up top. But any injuries to this team, and I don't know who you're filling this team with.
So what I would say is keep an eye on Derek Cornelius. He got a bunch of game time last year, as did Jasser Kamri or Kimiri. Don't know how to pronounce that name, but he actually started last year. He was the opening day starter for them. Godoy, I think, has it locked in, and I think Veselinovic probably will slide into that as well.
Yeah.
But they're not super thin at that spot. Ali Adnan's got an injury next to his name. Torn muscle fiber.
Can't tear steel.
They did just sign Bruno Gaspar as well at that right back spot, so Nerwinski has some competition. I think you'll see Dejome probably up on the left, more likely, because they've now got that Diber Caicedo to play on the right side, so they'll switch him back. And then, yes, Cavallini, Ricketts, Bear will fill in as a sub. And is Egbo, the draft pick, an outside shot to get a few minutes? Maybe. It really depends on how they go. But, and yeah, Chow Alexander as well is going to be a really nice addition to that spot.
Yeah, so he's one of the He's one of the key players I have highlighted. So it'll be him, Ali Adnan, and Cavallini. Cavallini didn't do terribly last season, considering he had zero help around him for a lot of it. Their game plan was essentially get the ball to Ali Adnan at left back. He bombs forward, does like a Ronaldo chop inside, and either shoots or lays someone off. But now it looks like they decided to actually bring in some attacking talent and try to lighten some of that load. I mean, Cavallini 6 goals in 18 games last season, not necessarily the outcome they were going to expect considering his price tag, but that's still, roughly 33% in a team that finished where it did. Caicedo comes in 7 goals, 13 assists in roughly 80 games with Deportivo Cali. So not like a crazy return, but we'll see. And then the other player who needs to have a good season and hopefully stay healthy this year is their goalkeeper. I mean, Hassal, we saw what he did last season when he came in. He looked really good and arguably could start elsewhere in MLS like tomorrow and be totally fine.
Sorry, I'm arguing with Connor on the notes here.
No, I see.
The disrespect that's being spewed on our Google Docs is ridiculous. I'm not even going to repeat it on this podcast because I think we might have to just like bleep out the entire section on the recording because it's that awful. Disrespectful.
Listen, I had to make up for it because I didn't do anything for Orlando.
Now I lost my train of thought. I had something really like key I was gonna say. I was gonna talk about how I don't think this team is as thin as you make it sound. I think there are a lot of people that we don't necessarily know about as household names, but they've done a very good job of improving on areas that they needed to. And we didn't really hit on it much on the transfer window side of it, mainly because Chow Alexander hadn't been through. It was really just the Diber transfer in. Their center backs are solid enough where they can be okay. They've upgraded their right back spot and added some leadership back there because that's really what they're missing is somebody who's got some experience to say, hey, cut the crap, let's start playing. Tybert's always been a pretty decent center defensive mid. Baldissimo's got another year under his belt where he can kind of step in and hold his own. Like I mentioned, Chow Alexander is going to be fine. Caicedo on the wing, and you've got Cavallini with another year under his belt. I think this team is going to be sneaky okay. Fighting for a playoff spot. Like I said, they were 9th last year and have improved, while other teams might not have. They might be an outside shot at the, 5 to 7 range for the playoffs this year.
So I would agree. However, if you look at Jake Nowitzki is, I think, 26. I think he's like roughly my age.
Yes, correct.
I think Theo Bear is 21 and Baldismo is like 23-ish, 24.
20.
So relatively young guys that if they start having a good season, like I wouldn't put it past Vancouver to just be like, all right, leader.
You're playing the worst case scenario of everybody continues to get sold.
I mean, like we saw what happened last season when.
Well, like I mentioned, I think Nowinski probably sees the bench in lieu of Bruno Gaspar.
No, I don't. I think that's his spot.
I disagree. I don't think you go spend almost $2 million on a right back just to sit him on the bench. Not Vancouver. Vancouver doesn't run that way. I think Baldismo gets a lot more minutes this year. Learns from Chal Alexander. I think they get a pretty decent partnership together. I'm excited to see Caicedo play, Cavallini to properly play this year. I think there's a lot more potential in this team than you're giving them credit for just because of their reputation as being Vancouver. So Vancouver fans, I've got you.
Hey, I want them to do well. I'm just.
No, you don't. You want Ali Adnan to do well. There's a difference. There are levels to this.
And Cavallini.
And Cavallini, fair.
That was all of their team last year. So
yeah. Can we also, on a side note, before we move on, can we talk about the fact that did anybody see that graphic that got put out from, I think it was MLS Buzz on Twitter? It was like, of the 10 highest paid transfers over the last 2 windows, I think like 4 of them came from Atlanta. And then the other, like 4 of the other 6 that were left were Vancouver and FCC.
Yeah.
And then there was like 1 from NYC, maybe. It was some dumb stat like that. And it just made me giggle. Cool. Good input, guys. I was hoping to get some.
I said Vancouver. I said Cincinnati's hitting double-digit wins this year.
That's pretty bold of you.
Well,
Double-digit, like in their history?
No, they're already at 10.
Are they? Did they hit 10?
They hit 10 over 2 seasons. Yeah.
Good for them.
Wow.
Okay. I think I'm going to take over Houston here. Chime in whenever you want to talk about your boy Quintero.
Cool.
Tab Ramos taking over Houston once again. Last year, 12th in the West, 25th in the league, missed the playoffs, 4 wins, 10-9. Why are you bagging on FCC and then not ripping Houston apart for the same record?
I think
because they have Darwin.
Because they have Darwin Quintero. That was the answer.
I mean, yeah.
I know the answer. It was a rhetorical question. 4-5-1, maybe. You're looking at Maric in goal, who I was not a fan of last year. Really, really not a fan of just his. I think his distribution was poor because they played in the preseason game, and I watched him a few times as well. Distribution was poor. In taking charge of his area, not the best. Decent shot stopper, but other than that, not really a big fan of his myself. Valentin, Parker, Fuenmayor, and Lundqvist. Center back has been improved. Right back's been improved. Left back, yikes. Maybe you see 3 at the back as well. Parker, Fuenmayor, and Figueroa. Probably Figueroa at left back. I think you probably see Figueroa at left back before you see Lundqvist. I hope you see Figueroa at left back before you see Lundqvist. Not a fan. That's just me. Then you're looking at 3 center mids. Vera, Sarin, Corona, Derek Jones. You've got Boniek in there as well. lots of different combinations depending on the style you'd like to play. You can go too defensive with a maybe like a Daniel Rios going forward. You can go Joe Corona, Vera, and Boniek Garcia for more of a defensive with an 8 ball playing type of guy. Lots of different types of combinations you can put into that. Out on the wings, you got Memo or Fafa, Quintero or Bajamic. Most likely Quintero. Can't assume that Bajamic is going to get off the bat. I think he'll probably get time, but just give him time to build in. And then you're looking at Urruti or Ramirez up top, most likely Maximiliano Urruti. And can't forget about Ari Lassiter, excuse me. I keep saying Letitia. Ariel Lassiter can play across all 3 spots in that, if they want to change that 4-5-1 to a 4-3-3, you can throw him on the wings, throw him as a lone striker. He was one of their better options last year. And I think you're looking at somebody who will get probably a start on the wing. I'm thinking you might put him in there instead of Memo, or even instead of Fafa. That's just me. Yeah, because I don't think you're taking Quintero out of there. I was just trying to take a look and see where else he could fit in. End of the day, this team needs to score goals and keep goals out of the net. Yes, that's soccer, but they were very bad at it last year. Like I said, I think they've improved really, really well at center back with Parker, at right back with Valentin. Corona is going to be a good upgrade. Urruti at striker, I'm a big fan of his. If he can be consistent, I think this is going to be a really good spot for him. Used to playing in Texas with some red team. I don't know. Got me. Players that are big in this team, you're looking at Darwin. You're looking at Joe Corona, Tim Parker, right? Some new guys who are still just going to bring some experience. I'll use the term. Darwin Sarin and Vera are going to be big as well. But if you're talking about people who need to step up, you're looking at Tim Parker right away. Needs to slide in and bring that back line up another level because, again, they were awful last year. They need to be better. Other players, Joe Corona needs to slide in and do the same thing, bring that midfield level up just a step, and I think he will. And to me, Christian Ramirez, man, what happened to this guy? He was the man for the longest time. And then he fell off everybody's radar. He's back in Houston. He was unreal with Minnesota. LA picked him up, useless, and then sent over to Houston. And I want him to explode again. I very much would like to see him just blow up.
I'll take that out of context.
Wow. You're weird.
You're the one that said it.
Good thing I have control of the clips here. But you're looking at 2017, 14 goals in 30 games. 2018, 9 goals in 27 games between 2 teams. 2019, 9 goals in 27 games between 2 teams. 2020, 2 goals in 15 games. Right? So he really fell off last year. I really want to see him come back and just be a top striker this year. And again, if you're able to do that, then you're looking at possibly throwing a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow in there with all your center mid options and then taking Quintero off the bench. Or you're looking at a 4-1-2-1-2 wide with Quintero wide and Fafa Pico wide, and then it turns into a 4-2-4 and you're just dumping long balls to the fastest attack in the league, which Adam is just drooling over because that's all he cares about. Lots of different ways this team can play. You just need to figure out the right combination. There's a lot of talent in that roster. Just need to find the right combination. I think Todd Ramos has a pretty good hold on it myself. Go ahead, Adam. Go say your piece.
So, worst case scenario, Houston play a 4-2-4 and lose every game, but play some of the most high octane, play long ball and run at them with 6 guys soccer you've ever seen in MLS. What happens? They get relegated? No. Do they fold as a franchise? No.
Maybe
Nothing.
you don't know that.
I mean, yeah, it's possible, but probably not. No, they come back next season and do it again. Like, I want one team in the league to just realize that there's no penalty for being bad. If anything, you get a good draft pick out of it and just go, all right, we're just going to do things differently and see what happens.
I think you have a team that does that. They just don't try to attack.
I mean, yes, but
We get
that's less
Connor.
fun.
We know this is. We're not on Atlanta. Stop bringing them up.
Oh, you're so funny.
Yeah, this team is going to be a question mark for me, because, like I mentioned, lots of additions that need to get up to speed, but also lots of potential for lots of different formations. And you've seen in the past that when teams use 9-10 formations in 11 games, they usually don't have a lot of success. It's the teams like 2018 RBNY, for example, that had the same starting 11 30 out of 34 games. One MLS Cup, one Supporter Shield. Will win MLS Cup this year, but that's in the future. But you look at those teams that have a set lineup that have the most success. Look at Atlanta 2018, their MLS Cup year, right? Relatively the same starting 11 every game, give or take, right? But if you have this many options to switch in and out players and you take it and players are just kind of not up to speed all the time, it takes you longer to get to speed and you usually start really slow and miss a playoffs. So got to get it right early and got to stay with the right decision.
So we said the same thing for Columbus, but because it's Columbus, we're just giving them a pass.
Correct, because their second team can play.
Fair.
This isn't a full second team of people who can play. This is a bench of 6 players who can come in and be competitive, but need to get up to speed. They have a whole bench who, 1, can play the game, and 2, were already there, so they know the system. This isn't like they brought in a whole bench worth of good players. They all were there already.
Yeah, that's fair.
Outside of BWP, but BWP doesn't need time. He just needs to be put in front of goal, and he'll score.
Yes.
Up the lad. All right, San Jose. Connor, you want to take this one? Because there's a really cool team coming up at spot 25 that I would love to hear Adam talk about.
Yeah, I'll go through this one as fast as I can because I know we're all waiting to get to Team 25.
Team 25. Is that how many wins we can have this year? I think so.
Probably.
Oh, man. Love that.
I mean, Adam did say double-digit wins, right? 25 is double digits.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm going to get another drink. Connor, go ahead and tell me about the San Jose Quakes.
All right, San Jose, coached by Matias Almeida, unless he's going to Chile. Last season finished 8th in the West, 16th in the league, and somehow made the playoffs. And they lost in the first round to SKC, but they put up a good fight. So credit to San Jose there. 4-4. We have them. Okay, sorry, skip the step. They finished last season with an 8-9-6 record, and we have them down as a 4-4-2 with a 6-6. So we've got Marcin Koski in goal, Tommy Thompson at right back, Youngworth and Alanis at center back, Lopez at left back. Then for the 2 defensive mid spots, it could be any combination of Remedi, Hudson, Yuo, and then on the right, Christian Espinosa. On the left, Fierro, and then up top with 2 strikers. Maybe this is a little bit of hope for me. Maybe it's a bit of realism, but I said Cade Cowell and the inevitable Chris Wondolowski. Because why not? Because that's fun. Because Wondolowski, how many we made bets on Wondolowski goals, and I need Wondolowski goals, so he can start.
He's not starting.
Key players said Espinosa because he's probably going to be their most dangerous attacking threat, and I said Jackson Ewell because I think if he plays next to Remedi, I think he'll have a bit more freedom to go forward and help to aid the attack, and I think that could really help to boost his game, boost his value, maybe get that same move that we've been talking about for some of the other youngsters. Probably, maybe not yet, but at least start to trend towards that way because he's still pretty young. And then players who need to have a good 2021. I said Ewell and Thompson. And I said, assuming both of these guys start, they have a good opportunity to stand out in a team that I feel like doesn't have a lot of big name players. So it'll be a little bit easier to stand out with some good play. And I think good performances will help get that recognition. And then I think that recognition ultimately starts to move them up in the pecking order of trying to get into the U.S. men's national team, which right now they're probably a bit off, but if they could start to string together some good performances, they'll definitely start to move forward. And then I also said Cade Cowell, and another, assuming if he starts, and I think that he has got a decent opportunity because last time I checked, which obviously could have changed by now, they felt kind of thin at top. So I think he'll have a chance to get some game time, even if he's not starting. And I think that's a good opportunity to kind of build his value and get that move that all these really young guys seem to get after 5 games. So maybe that'll be the case for Cade Cowell as well. But, like I said, he's still really young. So I don't feel like there's pressure that he has to come out and tear the league apart right away. So if things kind of are a little bit up and down or things are a little bit slow, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But just any bit of positives that we can see is definitely a good thing for him.
Yeah, the kid's 17. He's got plenty of time. So the few things I want to not point out, but just the way I see it differently myself. Cade Cowell will most likely be a wing substitute. That's where he came in last year. And if you look at the way their team has lined up, Fierro usually is a striking option for a team that was a little bit short last year. So you got Shea Salinas and Christian Espinoza as your only really true wingers. So you'll see him take that space more frequently. Andres Rios is going to start over Wondolowski. I know everybody wants to see Wando, but he's not going to start. I mean, consistently. And Cade Cowell won't be a striker because they just signed Kikanovic from Reno, and he probably will take that spot over Cade for now. The other thing I'll say is you might more than likely, instead of seeing Alanis as a center back, move him out to left back with Marcos Lopez as well, interchanging with him, and have Tanner Beeson slide in as your other center back. He came in from the draft last year. 9 games, he was okay. But I think you see a little bit more of him this year, personally, myself. I'm very happy we had no mention of Daniel Vega. And if I ever see him in a San Jose uniform on the field again, I might just turn the TV off. Because if anybody's going to fill in for JT, it's going to be Emmanuel Ochoa, because the kid's 15 and he deserves some playing time already. I'm very interested to see the right back competition between Tommy and Abakasis. They signed Abakasis on a season-long loan, and I think it was to give Thompson either competition or the freedom to move up in the attack as a midfielder or winger, because as we mentioned, they're a little bit thin there. So you probably are looking to free him up a little bit, because he does have a really good ability to go forward. I think you see Judson and Remedy start, and you will play more of a like a 4-3-3 if they're going to change this, because I think Remedy and Judson both have earned starting spots as well as you will. So look at a 4-3-3, pull Cowell out, play Fierro, Espinoza, or Cowell on the wing around Rios or Wando, especially because Wando has always been more successful as a target forward or a poacher, if you will. So to have wing service for a guy whose movement in the box is, I don't have a proper word to describe it because that's how good it is. His movement in the box is second to none. So to have some wing service is going to benefit him. Now, granted, Almeida may have something completely different in mind. The man loves to man mark against Seattle and get run. What do I know? But after watching a lot of these guys for as long as I have, I know they played 4-4-2-6 a lot. I'd abandon it. Go 4-3-3. Judson, Remedy, Ewell, Espinoza, Fierro, Cowell, whatever. Rios or Wando up top, and go forward that way. But that's just me. Like I said, I just wanted to throw a different formational look at people because I know that 4-4-2-6 is their go-to, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a 4-3-3 this year.
Yeah, I meant to mention Andy Rios, and then I got lost in the Wando bit, but yeah, I like that look as well. So would you say if you were going to go with the 4-4-2-6, would you just swap Fierro and Cade Cowell, or would you replace one of them?
If I'm going 4-4-2-6, I'm putting Fierro up top. I am putting Mr. Shea Salinas at right mid. And I'm putting Espinoza or Shea Salinas at left mid, Espinoza at right mid, Fierro up top, and then letting Cade Cowell come off the bench. Because Shea Salinas is going to play until he and Wando choose to both retire. Because they will. There's no way these guys don't retire together. Like once Wando's out, Shea Salinas is just going to look at that locker room and be like, "Where am I? I'm out."
He's gonna see like some new draftee come in, do like a TikTok dance, and then he's gonna retire.
You know what? I just realized we missed a really good opportunity to play tactics on the whiteboard with this entire series of 3 episodes. Because we're talking
too late now.
Yeah, it's definitely too late now. But I just realized that, like, I'm talking about all these formations in my head, and most people probably have no idea what I'm talking about, which kind of sucks because I could draw it all up here, show it, and then even the people who are listening can check out the links or the video clips on YouTube or TikTok or what have you. Yeah.
Is it time?
I think it is. Grab your popcorn, boys. This is about to be a good one. We are going in to you got to say at least top 4, maybe top 2 in the East. FC Cincinnati by our resident FC Cincinnati hype train driver, Adam Tamburello. Adam, give me the rundown, man. Tell me who's great. Tell me who needs to be better. Tell me why FCC is going to be the greatest team in the league this year.
So I'll agree with one thing that you said, and that is that they will finish at least guaranteed second in Ohio. So, there's that.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yupstom comes in year 2. I mean, they finished 14th in the East, 26th overall. They finished with like 6 wins this year. So improvement, sort of. I mean, their record last year was actually 14-5-14. So they already hit double-digit wins.
What?
Kidding. I want to see if you were paying attention.
I'm very confused. Your notes are silly.
Your notes are silly.
Got me.
Yeah, they're bad. But they went out and said, hey, we might have been bad, but like we're gonna spend $1 gajillion and bring in Brenner and Lucho Acosta because why the hell not? Like, I don't know. If I was a young kid in Brazil, my dream would be to play for FC Cincinnati. I can tell you that. He grew up with some Kubo posters on his wall, and now he's playing right alongside him.
Who's this Kubo guy? We all know the only person who's on the wall with Brandon Vasquez.
That too. Andrew Gutman was on his wall. He had little Andrew Gutman figurines when he was growing up. They actually tweeted, I don't know if you guys saw, but Brenner tweeted a picture of when he was young, and he had an Andrew Gutman jersey on. So it was magical.
Dream move, baby. Dream move.
You know, too bad he's not there anymore to play alongside.
That's right. Bring him to Red Bull. We could use
Yeah. The most likely play of the 4-2-3-1 they have been playing. Cody Cropper in goal, Zico Bailey right back, Vander Werf in the middle next to Peterson. Matarrita comes in at left back, went from New York City to FCC. I don't know if that's a step up, down, sideways. That's just kind of like a you change teams, congrats kind of thing. The two center holding mids in Meduna and Makojo, I feel like should be better than they are. Granted, Connor, what are both of them? They're the what? The wrong side of what now?
Makocho is 30. Let's be real.
Once you get 30, man, you're on the wrong side of it.
I think you're on top of it.
Okay. You're right on that line.
Yeah.
Kubo on the left, Lucho Acosta, no. Andrew, Frankie Amaya is not getting anywhere near this team.
How are you telling me Frankie Amaya doesn't get in this team?
Frankie Amaya doesn't want to play for this team. It's very simple.
I will almost put money on it.
Oh, I'm not saying he won't play. I'm just saying he won't play as much as he should because he basically told FCC, like, let me leave.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying Frankie Amaya drops into a 6-8 spot. He's going to take Medunjanin's spot and play as a holding ball winning mid. It's going to be the worst decision Yapsan ever makes, but he's too good not to put in that team.
I mean, yeah, I would agree. But if a player basically says, let me leave, you guys say no, and then he's stuck now under contract going, well, I don't really want to be here. Like, there's no reason for him to play. And then Brenner up top. Locadia is not playing. Andrew, stop putting him in my notes.
You can't sign Jurgen Locadia for that much money and not play him.
I mean, you can because you brought Brenner in for more money.
No, fair, but you have to find a way.
You don't have to find a way.
Are we at a point where FCC has so many decent players we don't know who they're going to start? What does the world come to?
I mean, I guess, but like again, they're still going to win 10 games this year minimum. Or maximum. Maximum. No more than 10.
How do you make this team work? You know, again, this is a team that's probably going to look to win games 5-4. Their back line is so thin, but they got Matarrita and Bailey who are going to go streaking up the wings, knock everybody in, just dump balls in all day. Oh, man. This team's going to be fun. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but they're going to be really fun.
That's the thing is there was one of those teams that like could easily just implode, or if their back line like figures out how to defend, maybe they string a few wins together and like start the season super hot. I mean, yeah, their attacking talent is a lot better than it's been, depending on if they get the chemistry right. Obviously bringing in Acosta and Brenner will take time for them to settle in with everyone. I feel like Lucho Acosta is going to be like, oh, I remember this league. I came in, I dominated for a little, like
almost went to PSG, didn't go to PSG, went to Mexico.
But like was on the DC team with Wayne Rooney and was like, oh, this league's easy. I just, you know, I have some decent guys around me. This is going to be great. And then gets to FCC and is like, oh.
The last time he played in this league, he played against an Orlando side that got
terrible.
That missed an open net
because
they got tackled by a 36-year-old Wayne Rooney sprinting half the field. hit a 50-yard cross-field ball and let a 5'4" center attacking mid win a header over their 6'3" center backs and their 6'4" goalkeeper, and he dinked the goalkeeper with the header. He has no idea what he's coming into. He's gonna walk into Orlando and look at Nani and Pop and be like, "What happened here?"
I go away for 2 years and this is what happens.
It would not surprise me in the slightest if this team rattles off like 5 wins in a row.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. And then goes on like a 14-game losing streak. Not even like,
yep.
I would literally sit there and just watch me like 5 in a row. Nice. First loss. I just go, here we go. 14 in a row.
So it wouldn't be an episode if I didn't bring this back to fantasy somehow. FCC is going to be one of those teams where you pick like sneaky differentials every week if you want to be different. It's like, oh, they have a not horrible matchup. Let me throw like
Kubo in there or Barreal in there, depending on what their prices look like. If they, like I say, they win 5 in a row, they're all going to skyrocket. Then you got to buy them when they go down and see if they can pick up a cheeky goal here or there.
What that is? That's stonks.
Stonks.
FCC's not going to the moon though.
FCC straight to the moon.
Yeah.
FCC to Mars, baby.
FGR is going to the moon. Can't have 2 teams.
FGR straight to the moon. Absolutely.
They tied 0-0 today, unfortunately.
We need an FGR podcast.
Oh God.
That'd be awful. You think we don't know anything about MLS? Wait till you hear us talk about FGR.
That League 2 podcast life.
I am interested to see what Makocho brings, coming as a holding mid from a Brentford side last year that nearly got promoted. And I know he played a little bit last year. I didn't get to see enough of him. Interested to see what he does with a full year. I think he plays next to Amaya, not Medunjanin, because if he plays next to Amaya, he'll at least allow him to go forward a little bit. Medunjanin, it would literally be sitting 6 people behind the ball because I don't think either of them would go forward. And then you're hoping that the 4 combination of whoever you put up there can get the job done, which they probably can realistically. But oh man, there's a lot of really good in this team.
Yeah.
However,
only on the attacking side.
Yeah, for sure. We did say the same thing last year.
Speaking of Brentford players, remember when Red Bull almost signed Even Tony and then didn't, and now he's got like 30 goals in the championship?
He wasn't on Brentford. He was on Peterborough.
Want to check again?
Yeah.
He's on Brentford now, and he's banging goals in.
No, when we wanted to sign him, he was on he was on Peterborough. He lit up League One, then signed for Brentford. Lit up the championship. Because he wanted to stay in England because I think Brentford were going for him. Man, he would have been great.
Just didn't want to play next to Brian White.
Imagine him coming off the bench for Brian White. Would have been such a good team.
God.
Oh man. So tell me about this FCC team. Who needs to have a really good standout year?
I mean, obviously the big one is Brenner. You don't come in with that money and then like crap the bed year one. That would be a very bad look considering, like you said before, FCC have brought in like 4 of the most expensive transfers in league history. I don't want to make this another one, especially that doesn't work out. Especially,
man, how bad would that be? Signing Locadia and Brenner and both of them flopping.
I think it wouldn't be as bad if this was a team that had history.
Something else. Yeah.
So like you could look back and be like, oh, we had periods where like we had good strikers, or we had, there were some dips, but we had this player that was really good. Like they're 3 seasons in and they're horrible. So if he comes in and is horrible again, like FCC fans, like just look out for them.
Yeah. This is awful to say, but I almost kind of want to see it. What I don't want to see is FCC become the new Orlando. where they just go bye and miss the playoffs every year because of a coaching issue or this or that. I just want to see them be successful.
Yeah. The other one would be Lucho Acosta. So like I said before, everyone remembers him and how good he was at DC, but A, doesn't have the same support. B, is however many years older. And C, is on FC Cincinnati. So like, who knows if he still wants it. And then the other one is Makocho. So if that back line is going to have any chance of doing anything, the guys in front of them are going to have to do something.
So next up on the list is, unless somebody else has anything to say about the best team in the league. Next up on the list is our good friends Inter Miami, and I prepped this one I prepped it last night before both of their outside back signings were signed this morning, and I prepped it as a 3-5-2. So I am scrambling to figure out how I can fix this. So let's just dive into how they were doing. New coach Phil Neville comes in, 10th in the East, 19th in the league, lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Ginger Ninja. I knew it sounded funny. Ginger Ninja. Absolutely toasted Blaise Matuidi. It was great. Really enjoyed watching that. And this is a team that's got a lot to play for because they basically turned their entire roster over. They finished 7-13-3 last year. And when you're talking about most likely formations, this is difficult because you're taking a coach whose entire experience is really in the last couple years with a women's team. So it's a different game, right? Granted, they were phenomenal, but it's just different. So I am prepping the 4-1-4-1 formation right now because that is what he played in England. All right, I think I got it. Cool. So that's what he played in England with the women's team. However, it could go to 3-5-2, and we'll talk about that in a second. So if they're looking at 4-1-4-1, you're most likely looking McCarthy in goal, Gibbsy, LGP, a combination of either Shawcross, McCoon, or Fagal, with Leardom on the right or left, whichever way Gibbsy and Leardom are going to play. Matuidi holding in front of them with Gregory, Pizarro in the midfield in front of them, Lewis Morgan on the left, Pellegrini on the right, Higuain and Carranza up top with Robinson filling in there as well. That would probably be your 4-1-4-1 start. But he could go 3-5-2 here. McCarthy still in goal, which on a side note, I think is their weakest point. Good goalkeeper, but definitely can be improved upon. McCoon, LGP, Shawcross, or Figal in that back three, which I think would benefit Shawcross better if he has more help around him. Play him as a center back, have other players around him to cover him, would benefit him significantly. Put Gregory and Matuidi in front of them, Pizarro in that cam spot with Lewis Morgan or Pellegrini on the left, Dylan Nealis on the right as a right wing back, if you will. Higuain, Carranza, Robinson, but you can also play Leardom at that right wing back spot. And I don't know what type of attacking legs Gibbsy's got, but you could probably throw him in there as well, or throw him in at a center back spot. I'm sure he can do a job there as well. So that'll be an interesting one because I think for me, that gives you the most success with Ryan Shawcross because he is slow, but very good at headers. Put him in there as almost like a sweeper third center back. You'll see a lot more success than if you play him as a 2 and expect him to mark and keep up with the pace on his own with only one next to him. Obviously, your key players are your 3 big designated players. 2 designated players and a guy who you signed for cookie.
Yep.
Higuain, Matuidi, and Pizarro are going to be the guys you got to watch, with Lewis Morgan as well being one of the standouts from last year. Players who need to have a good 2021 for myself, Carranza and Pellegrini. Both of them were really hyped up last season, but they underperformed along with the rest of this entire roster. So they need to step it up for sure. McCarthy, you're filling the shoes of the best goalkeeper in league history. Come on, somebody fight me on that. I dare you.
No, I agree.
Good man.
I mean, I disagree, but
Fight me. Do it.
I'm not gonna fight you.
You're right, because you know you're wrong. Don't start.
I'm not wrong.
You
Nick
are
Armando
wrong.
is better.
No, you didn't just say that. No,
Here
you
we
didn't
go.
just say that.
Here's the tangent I was
You
hoping
didn't
for.
just tell me Nick Raimondo is a better goalkeeper than Luis Robles because he makes 6 penalty saves. You didn't just do that.
Yeah.
No, you
I'm waiting for the 10-minute tangent.
You didn't just tell me that Nick Raimondo, because he played in MLS 2007 or 2004, whenever he started, when they were playing against literally dentists off the street, is better because he started earlier and has better numbers. Don't disrespect me like that. Don't
Listen,
disrespect the
I
goal.
needed the anger tangent
Don't
that I didn't
disrespect
get
the
for
goal.
Orlando.
You are Adam, kick him. Get him out of here. I don't want to hear his voice. Mute him, block him. I don't care. But the disrespect that's coming out of this kid's mouth right now is unbelievable.
So off the top of your head, can you roughly guess the combined age of those 4 defenders you just named?
Are you trying to pull me back on topic? How dare you?
How dare you?
How
Adam,
dare you?
Adam, kick yourself from the chat.
Get out. Let's see. Gibbsy's hitting 32. Leardham's 31. LGP's 30. Shawcross 34. Am I close?
Yeah, so it's about 130.
Oh my God.
Wait. That doesn't sound right.
Roughly. It's like 124, I think.
So it's 30, 31, 32, 34.
Yeah.
Now add the midfielder that's right in front of them as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're going with experience, boys.
Yeah,
And then the striker up top.
dude, it's wild.
This is wrong.
It reminds me of New York City's first year where they had one good player, the rest was garbage. They played the whole season and went, "Oh yeah, we messed up building this roster. Like, let's get rid of everybody."
Inter Miami is single-handedly trying to push back against the "we are not a retirement league" mindset. They're like, man, this league is advancing way too much. Higuain, Shawcross. Bro, did you see that article that Shawcross was about to retire? And then they're just like, yo, come play for us. He's like, bet, give me that money. Oh, man. You'll love it. You'll love to see it, David.
So the Shawcross one, I don't think he plays that often. LGP and Figal looked actually really solid toward the end of last season.
When they were actually on the field, not getting red cards, cool.
Well, yeah, but LGP also came in halfway through the season, so having actual preseason with the team will certainly help him. We also, is Brooke Shea still on the team?
Yes.
Yep.
Lovely. So another option at left back, left mid, center mid, goalie,
Striker.
Yeah. Maybe Robbie Robinson is healthy and we can get some game time.
Yeah, I think he's probably your third choice there.
Yeah.
Um,
Basically, we hope that Lewis Morgan has a season he did last season and just carries our attack again because Higuain wasn't great. Matuidi was meh. Carranza was okay. I actually enjoyed watching him play at points. But it relied so heavily on Lewis Morgan, and I wouldn't be surprised if he again just gets signed by someone and leaves us.
Yeah, I know he was rumored to leave in the offseason, but that window's not closed yet.
Yeah.
The other group of players I think need to have a good 2021, by the way, are your big signings, Matuidi and Higuain. They just need to be more gooder. You don't get to have that name and reputation in this league and play like that. As I mentioned, Rafa Marquez days are gone. People, please move on from them.
One thing I want to add.
No,
I think you'll like this one.
no,
I think you'll like this one.
I don't want to hear any words from you. I don't.
If Miami is looking to get younger at the back line, they do have a 23-year-old Pat Segrist that they can throw in.
Continue, Connor. You're allowed to speak words.
You could really bring down the age if you throw him in there. I'm just saying.
Will you really be dropping the potential either? I doubt it.
No, we seem to have lost Connor's audio. How sad.
He muted him.
Yeah.
I'm in control of this, Connor.
No, I love that. All right. We gotta move on here. We gotta finish this up because I'm probably gonna yell at Connor some more after this. So let's get Colorado done. Adam, you want the hype train? You want to hear Connor speak?
No, Connor, go for it. Let's see what you have to say, and then I'll correct you.
I feel bad taking your hype train.
I gotta share some of them.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Colorado.
Finish
Coached
it up.
by Robin Fraser. They finished 5th in the West while somehow having less points than other teams because MLS was MLS last year. 10th in the league, lost to Minnesota in round 1. They finished with a record of 8-6-4 after they missed a bunch of months with all types of COVID protocols. They honestly, I remember them just being one of the messiest teams in terms of that, just like a ton of games getting canceled for them.
Yeah, they literally missed a month straight, twice.
Yeah. So we have them down as playing either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. In this case, we'll go with the 4-2-3-1. So in goal, they have Yarborough. At left back, Sam Vines. At center back, some combination of you want to say that one for me, Adam? I'll let you have the first name. What's his name?
I think it's Adam. I think we have the same first name.
Adam Trusty, Wilson, Abubakar. Some combination of that at center back. And then at right back, they got Rosenberry. In the midfield, they have Acosta and Price at the defensive mid positions or center mid positions, probably either one. And then at cam, they have Mezquita. On the left, they have Nomley. On the right, either Lewis or Barrios. And at striker, either Rubio or Shigishiki. So key players for this team, Jack Price. He'll be pulling the strings from the midfield, probably sitting a bit deeper, not getting as much forward, but certainly will be a crucial playmaker for them, even while sitting a bit deeper. Eunice Nomley pulling the strings from the 10. He'll be one of their key attacking pieces for sure this season. And then Abubakar, who is one of their better center back options and will certainly be a key piece in that back line for them. And then players who need to have a good 2021, starting in goal with Yarborough, because last season was a little bit shaky for him, and they're going to need a better season out of him if they want to try to, continue to push up the Western Conference. So they're definitely going to be looking for him to have a stronger 2021 season, bounce back a bit. And then Sam Vines, kind of fitting the theme with a lot of the players that we put on this, time to have another good season and bounce to Europe, because that's what MLS does now. MLS makes, the world takes. And then whoever is playing up at striker for them. Colorado's going to need goals. That's typically how this game works. So whoever's at striker is going to need to finish their chances, because with the team that they have behind them, they'll definitely get some chance creations for them. They just need the guys to, finish the chances and grab them as many goals as they can and just make sure that they can score more than the other team and win games.
Good observation there.
Yes, that's the analysis that everybody came to hear.
Yes. The other thing that I was just looking through the rest of their roster. I would not be surprised if they go with we called it at school. We called it the Christmas tree or the dart. It's the 4-3-2-1, and basically you play it when you've got a ton of central talent, and it's a very easy formation to transition into wing play, right? So you can start off in this dart formation. You look at something like Kellen Acosta, Cole Bassett, Jack Price as your back three. And then in front of them, put Nomley and Mosqueda. And then in front of that, put a Rubio or a Shinyashiki. And then when you want to transition out of it, you go ahead and you pull, let's say, Cole Bassett out and you drop in Jonathan Lewis, right? Jonathan Lewis can go play up top for 10, 15 minutes. You go into a 4-2-2, spread your attacking midfielders a little bit wider, and then you drop one more of them off, bring Nomley, let's say, a little bit more central, and then drop on Nicholas Benezet, for example, play him on the other side. Now you've got wingers to go through. So it's very easy to transition into a wing formation through this dart, but they've got the center mid ability to play that dart formation. It's a very difficult formation to break down. It gives you, you know what? Screw it. We're going to the board.
On the last one, he's going to bring out the board.
Because now I'm starting to bring out my formational awareness here. So when you look, you tell me if you can see it too.
You might want to, when you talk, you might want to talk towards the camera.
Yeah, I'm going to turn. So here, you've got your right formation here. More of this. Here are your wings. You know, the edges of your pitch. You're allowing teams this space here, which is, you can't get hurt from those spaces unless you really mess something up, right? So you're basically cutting off all of these options in here, which makes it very difficult to penetrate you through the middle, but also pinching them into a really tight spot here, which makes it easy to win the ball and go forward. Which with the players that they have here, they can pull it off, because what it ends up turning into is a turnover in this spot here into a direct long ball to a diagonal run from your striker, who can then lay off to one of your two attacking mids, change the point of attack and go forward. So when you have somebody like Diego Rubio up there who loves making those diagonal behind the back runs, or you have somebody like, if you want to throw Jonathan Lewis up there to start, just for this exact reason, pin the ball in these high areas, turn it over, and let's play. The roster screams 4-2-3-1. I don't think you see it because you've got players like Lewis, Benezet, Nomley, who are very, very good in 1v1 situations out here. But I think if I am in that position, I am at least trying it. I think this shows a lot of potential here to win the ball in these areas of the pitch and go counter. Personally, that's just me, but looking at this roster, that's what I would do. They're also really deep at right back, a lot deeper than I thought. So you got Keegan, you've got Beta Short, and you've also got Seb Anderson, who's got a really high potential as well. He's another one on the list of 5 games to Europe type of train. So, okay, that's my coaching corner for the day. We definitely should have done that. We should have done that for every other team. That makes a lot easier for what we're trying to say. So apologies. Maybe I'll just make more TikToks and show off what we would do. I think I will.
Go for it. Yeah, I was kind of surprised to not see Cole Bassett in our notes in this team. I'm not sure if you personally would play him more in like that deeper midfield role, or if you would play him more in the central attacking role if you're going with the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I'd probably swap him and Mosquita, but he has slid more into that defensive block recently than that attacking mid spot.
Yeah, the problem there is just it's tough to break through and replace Acosta or Price.
Well, and that's what I mean, right? That's why you go into a formation like this where you can get all of your best talent there. But your best attacking talent, Jonathan Lewis was one of your best. What do you have? 7 goals last year, give or take. You can't pull that off the field. Diego Rubio's solid, but you've got so much talent in the center of midfield here that you almost are inviting these outside backs here into this space because there's so much of it that immediately once you get the turnover in this area here, it's gone. Or in this area here and it's gone. And he's making that run in and you're in behind. You can play Jonathan Lewis as a striker here and he'll have the same effectiveness as he would up on the wings because he's going to end up in these spots anyway, right? All right, I got to put a call into Robin Fraser. We need to have a conversation about this. I'm also on my way into MLS assistant coaching, evidently, because I'm just really good at this. But yeah, so anything else we want to chat about, or is that it?
Got nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just admiring my art. I need to get more colors, make it a lot easier.
Yeah, it looks like a giant tic-tac-toe board right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The X's and O's and arrows and man, that's the stuff I live off though. I remember back in freshman year. I'll never forget this. We in freshman year, the academy team I played for went to a 3-5-2 formation. And I was a very decent student. Spanish was one of my better classes. So whenever I finished the work, I would just sit here, draw my formation here, and try and figure out ball movement. If I were to play the ball out this way, where are you moving? Where are you moving? Where are you moving? Where's that ball going? And I would sit here and do this for weeks and just play with these types of formations and little movements and stuff like that. And I think that's why I love coaching so much, is because it's all I ever did when I was in high school. So one of these days I'll be in Greg's spot calling up Daryl DK's son for some World Cup 2040.
Yeah, going for our 5th straight World Cup win.
I mean, it might be too easy. It might be too easy at that point.
Yeah.
All right, let's cut this off before we get way too off topic. Thanks everybody for making this far, for listening to us ramble about formations and tactics and trusting the system for the 3rd time. Make sure you subscribe anywhere you get podcasts, when we go live, and follow us on social media. TikTok at the DP Pod, YouTube, the Designated Players Podcast, Facebook, the Designated Players Podcast, Instagram is designated_players_podcast, and Twitter is at the DP Pod 1. Follow us because we post clips. We interact with people on social media all the time, and we would just love to hear from you. And if you have made it this far, tweet us the quote of the day: formations, coaching. I forgot it. I think formations, tactics, and trusting the system, part 3. Yes, let's go with that. Other than that, anything else, boys? All righty. Thanks for everybody for making it this far. Knicks won, for anybody who is wondering, because we're the best team in the league. And on that note, we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.